What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. We told you something has changed, and they lost 2 games in a row. They did win the final game of the series, though, to split. So, I mean, hey, that is a change. This Mets team will take a split series in a series where we legitimately could have swept, possibly. But at the same time, or been swept. It was such chaos baseball. But that is the 2026 New York Mets experience. Before we get going into it, make sure you guys are subscribed to Mets'd over on YouTube if you want to see our pretty faces and my face healing from smashing the cement trying to jump a subway turnstile. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drops a rating, drops a review, download, and subscribe. We're reading out new reviews at the end of the episode, so stick around. If you left one, we'll give you a quick shout-out, and big shout-out to all our members who get access to the episodes early. James, Nick's Corner's coming later. We know that's the most important game today, but right now, nice little win by the Metsies.
Yeah, happy to salvage the series, especially on like a true white-knuckle game on Thursday. Like, the Mets got to score 2 runs. That was the third inning, Boba single.
The Boba single, yeah.
And that was a rally from the start with a hit by pitch on MJ Melendez. Got hit twice. I've been saying Mets need to get hit by more pitches, so happy to see MJ getting on any way he can. But this was like a miracle the Mets won this game.
Yeah, I can't believe that they played so poorly and won this one, because the Mets don't play poorly and win games. That's usually how it goes. It's the reason why we're 4 or 5 games under 500 is because the Mets... 6, even worse. Because the Mets play bad and they lose because they play bad. But this was the rare win. Big shout to Devin Williams. Big balls moment for him at the end of the game.
Big.
I texted you, which, again, my jinx has been out of control recently. We'll mention it in Nick's Corner, too. But I texted you as soon as A.J. Ewing had that awkward fly ball that was dropped that got scored a hit, even though it's definitely an error. Still love A.J. Ewing. I was like, this is a fucking nightmare. I can't believe this is happening.
Well, the thing that was worse is that you load the bases in the top of the 9th on a bunch of misplays and flares and nonsense by the Nationals, and you still can't cash in and score a run. And the Mets had lots of chances to get insurance runs this entire game. Combined what these two teams did with runners in scoring position on Thursday.
I'm going to feel like they had 9 or 10 at-bats each with runners in scoring position. I'll say 2 for 21.
It was 2 for 19.
Really close.
Yes, really close. Honestly, incredible. And in fact, the Mets had the one hit, but also the one before where the run didn't score. But this was a bad baseball game, but also a good baseball game with a bad baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Bench should have had a grand slam, and the wind said, actually, never mind. The wind was insane in the stadium today, and you could tell by how A.J. Ewing, he misplayed that ball, but also the wind really, really made a big difference on that. Still, at the end of the day, good win. Big shout out David Peterson, too. Doing what we have been asking on the last few episodes is you don't need to be an ace, David Peterson, because you're not, and you never will be, but keep us in the ball game, and he kept us in this game the entire time he was out there.
Yeah, it was really ugly, but it was good. I liked the discipline of Carlos Mendoza of yanking him after 5 when the lineup was turning over again. I know, we've been talking a lot about the Mets, how the bullpen usage has been, how not deep the starters are going into games. So you pull the guy with 80 pitches, okay, but you might not win this game if you try to stretch David Peterson to the 6th. And right now, it's kind of like we have to keep kicking the bullpen can down the road. We just have to win as many games as humanly possible.
Yeah, because it's just this team has a big hole to dig out of, and as crazy as it is, got to keep winning games. So if you're going to use guys, you're going to stretch them out, whatever it is, that's just the nature of the game right now for the New York Mets, who are trying to play big-time catch-up.
Good note from our guy Rob, who knows everything. So the Mets record after this, 22-28.
Oh, okay.
2024 is 21-29.
Wow.
After the Jorge Lopez game.
God. Oh, my. It's crazy to even happen that deep into the season. It felt like that happened the second week of the year.
No, it happened deep because I remember that was around the week when the Rangers were in the Eastern Conference Finals as well that year. They lost to, I think they lost to the Panthers.
Yes.
Yeah, right around Memorial Day. And that's kind of funny, the correlate with the Knicks right now. But this is, again, that's the classic comparison you make. It's kind of like when you're the QB interceptions rookie year, Peyton Manning, your QB prospect looking like shit like Josh Allen, the 2019 Nationals, 2024 Mets.
That's Jordan how you was cut from his varsity basketball team.
When you hear comparisons like that, it's how you know you're basically cooked, but there is at least a chance. We're just playing for a chance.
Yeah, no, we're playing for a chance right now, as I tried to mute mid-cough. But better-ish baseball. Still doing a lot of Mets things, but better-ish for sure, because immediately after we dropped an episode telling you it felt like something has changed, the Mets went out and said, what if we play the sloppiest and worst baseball that we've played in a week and a half, 2 weeks?
No, that game Tuesday night was disheartening, especially when you stretch out a 5-0 lead after two innings. Bo Bichette has home runs in each of the first 2 innings, and it does feel like, we'll talk about it a little bit moving forward, but it feels like Bo Bichette is out the other end. It feels like he's back to being Bo Bichette right now, which is nice, but you're up 5-0. Nolan McLean's on the mound. you're looking to get on a hot streak. And for that game to have fallen apart the way it did was a very empty feeling when it ended on Tuesday.
Yeah, thank God at that point when that started happening, the Knicks at that moment were winning the basketball game, so it did feel a little bit better. But yeah, if you told me the Mets get to start the game with 5 runs more than the other team and Nolan McLean's on the mound, I almost would consider betting my life. I couldn't believe that Nolan McLean struggled as much as he did, and the Nationals were super aggressive. They really just didn't let McLean get into a groove, and that might be something that I think we see teams try and do a little bit more because the stuff is so ridiculously good. Like, we know the stuff is nasty. He hasn't been as sharp. But I think trying to get on him early and attack, not let him get in that driver's seat as much as he can, that's something that we might see teams start to adjust to with Nolan.
I'm trying to see right now how often the first pitch they swung. They swung at only 8 of 31 first pitches. So I don't feel like
that version of aggressive, but I think the fact that he gave up all those runs and still went 5 innings and threw like 90-something pitches,
as it kept going around, it really just felt like he had nothing similar to that last Tiger start. But that last Tiger start, he was able to use the nothing and kind of work around the nothingness. Where in this start, it just felt like the Nationals, like you said, were all over it. I think that was partially because of how left-handed heavy this Nationals lineup was and is every single day. I think it was just Cruz and Vivas were the only righties in that lineup on Tuesday, if I remember right. Vivas might be a switch.
Lefty. I think he's a switch, yeah.
Yeah, he's a switch. So could it just been Cruz? We're missing one other lefty. Jose Tena destroyed Nolan McLean. He was a complete menace. He tried to get the cutter going, and the cutter was horrible. He tried to get the curveball going, but too many of them, he just seems like he didn't get on the outside of the ball and just kind of fluttered out there on the outside. They just weren't very competitive pitches. It was bad. It was really bad. There's some talk about the Nolan McLean velocity dip. It didn't really feel like it dipped that much. It just felt like he was kind of just grunting his way through.
I mean, he's, normally since 96, and he was 94?
He's had some starts where he stretched up around 97, but just especially because you see, especially that last inning, he's throwing 93s. Like that I understand is cause for alarm, but the way he was going, it's crazy this day and age to face 31 hitters in a game, to give up 6 or 7 earned runs and still be in the game. Go around the lineup almost completely for a 4th time. That was
insane.
It was weirdly a very old school start by Nolan McLean. But again, against an all lefty lineup, when it didn't seem like he trusted his fastball a whole lot, his cutter was not good and his curveball was not good. You could, again, still kind of see the downsides of Nolan McLean, where it's like, I don't know how we get around to this. And especially the way all that chaos started in the second inning.
God.
Not really started, but Gilbert Vivas hits a double down the line, and then he has Drew Millis.
With 2 outs.
Yeah, 2 outs, 2 quick outs, too. He has Drew Millis down 0-2. Again, not able to lock in those curves because he threw him a curve 0-1 that was just a hanger that Millis just didn't expect and he didn't go for it. He threw the next one, probably tried to overemphasize that movement on it, smacks him in the foot. Drew Millis getting hit with an 0-2 pitch in the foot. He's like, thank you so much. Then Nasim Nunez just kind of hits a dribbler, and that happens there. And then James Wood with the inside the park grand slam. I was like, the play heard around the world. It's like, watching that, we were like, oh, what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, Morabito almost made an unbelievable play, crashing into the wall.
No shade to him for that.
Would have been an unbelievable grab. But then Tyrone clearly didn't see the ball ricochet off. That's what it has to be because
I don't know what he was looking at.
Yeah, either that or he was concerned that Nick Morabito died because of how hard he crashed into the wall. I'd
say you still got to make the play.
Do still got to make the play. Can't worry about the guy on the field. But the fact that Nick Morabito then got his own ball on one that he clanked off of him that ended up in center field was kind of insane. That happened, and I went, it's probably going to be a weird game, huh?
The Nationals always play weird games. They play the absolute weirdest fucking games ever.
Especially in Nats Park. It's always chaos.
And then did you see the stat they threw out that was the 3rd inside the park grand slam in the last 5 years or 10 years?
Wasn't it Patrick Bailey? Didn't he have one last year?
Yeah, I think it was maybe the 4th one. I think they said 3 of them happened in Nationals Park.
What?
Yeah, maybe it was of the last 4 inside the park grand slams.
That's
3.
Insane.
One was Aaron Altair, and one was your boy Raimel Tapia. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, those are a couple of my boys right there. And Altair, Raimel Tapia. God, I miss Raimel Tapia. I hope he's doing well.
That was a crazy stat. So I did actually wind up watching a lot of the game on Wednesday in the Nationals broadcast. I couldn't get a good Mets stream. They dropped some other insane stats. So now we're jumping around a little bit. Zach Thornton gave up that home run to C.J. Abrams, first inning of his major league career. That's the 4th time in C.J. Abrams' career that he's hit a home run off a pitcher making their major league debut.
Tim Kirk should get on the podcast. What just happened here?
And shout out to the Nationals broadcast. Zim's great in the booth, too. He's giving good color commentary.
Zimmerman's in the booth now.
Yeah. I don't know if he was moonlighting, if it was a regular thing, but he was in there, and he was good. But then also, of the 4 times C.J. Abrams hit a home run off a pitcher making the major league debut, 3 were in the first inning.
It's
How insane
crazy.
is that? Insane.
That's like an anomaly. I don't even know how that happens.
That was that was good. But I was just like, again, weird baseball every single time we wind up at Nationals Park. Can't really do much about it.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, the MLB season is in full swing, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. So are you ready to play your game? Head over to FanDuel.com/podcast to get started. That's FanDuel.com/podcast to opt in for daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, and I will say, just kind of to put a little bow on the McLean game as well, it really stunk, too, that the Mets got all over Foster Griffin early and then just said, what if you settle in the third inning?
And that is kind of just what happened, how that one went. And also the fact that after the weirdness of McLean the second inning, the third inning, he got torched worse.
Yes.
Like, again, Jose Tena had all of our numbers this year. So Jose Tena had a great series. God knows how to put his bat in the ball. And then the weird pass ball, bad defensive game by Terrence, which again, then the weird game by Sanger on Wednesday. And then the Jorbit Vivas ball where Nick Morabito went flying squirrel into the net. And then the run scores where it's like, in that situation, I don't think you can turn your brain off and let that ball drop, especially because you also would have had him 2 strikes. Like I don't know. It was you can't. I don't expect anyone to ever be thinking that fast, but I think people were getting on Morabito, and I didn't think that was particularly fair.
Yeah, I didn't think that was fair either, especially with all the stuff about him taking the number 8 and Gary Carter.
I was gonna medium marvel that, but
okay.
Then,
We'll talk about that
now.
I'll
do it right now because I think that's really relevant to this conversation.
It feels insane, right?
I mean, I definitely understand why some people would feel a certain way about that, but also at the same time,
Gary Carter was an expo.
He was instrumental to the Mets winning a World Series. He was on the team for 5 years. I think 2.5 of those seasons were very good.
Yeah, he played 2.5 more times games with the Expos. The team, by the way, Nationals Expos.
Yeah, sure. and it's the team he's in the Hall of Fame with.
Yes.
Yes, the Expos.
Yeah.
And then also Anthony DiComo dropped for people who maybe miss this or don't live online like Mark and I do. So when Nick Morabito came up, he was wearing number 7 at AAA at Syracuse. Brett Baty wears number 7 on the Mets. So I guess he just asked for number 8 because it was close to 7. And then the team announced he was wearing number 8. And then there was a bit of a media shitstorm. And it kind of did start with Howie, and I understood what Howie was saying about it. And then Puma got in on it. Mark Healy was the one who was really driving it forward. Our guy Darren got in on it, and just a lot of other people from like a subsection of Mets Twitter that we don't really spend much time in, but it definitely exists. Well, like, how can you give up? It's a
different generation of Mets Twitter.
Yeah, like, how could you give up? Also, there were some people who are not from that generation who just like to jump in on stuff.
Course.
But then got in this, be like, you can't give him number 8, you can't give him number 8, you can't give him number 8. And then before the game, the Mets actually conceded. And they're like, oh, he's only going to wear number 8 tonight. He's going to take a different number tomorrow, which I thought was crazy as well. And then he was asked about it after the game, and he was like, yeah, no worries, I'll change it, guys.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for ruining my Major League debut.
Like, I don't think there's a world, and I don't care what anybody says, I'll die on this hill. Nick Morabito, as great of a player as Gary Carter is, Hall of Famer, all this kind of stuff. We love him as Mets fans. I get it. There's no world where Nick Morabito needs to know that that's Gary Carter's number. So when he gets the number 8, it's like, sure, whatever, this is the number I get. So to press him, be like, how could you do this? Why would you ask for that number? This is Gary Carter's. Why, on what planet do you think that this kid who was born in the 2000s is going to be locked into a Mets catcher who won the World Series in the 80s and was more known for playing with another team, what his number was? Like, that's fucking insane to think that this falls on Morabito. If you want to give anybody shit, it would be the Mets, but also at the same time, like, I don't know, his number isn't retired, so it's up for grabs.
I think the thing I have almost the biggest problem with is that even if like the attendant or whoever was in charge of equipment that day wasn't aware that there was like a fake freezing of not fake. There was a freezing of his number since Gary Carter left. I think one player.
I don't think anybody's worn it since.
Apparently, one player wore it for a cup of coffee in 2001. I forgot the guy's name. People were talking about it online.
Did they burn steaks too to get him?
Twitter didn't exist. But again, I understand like the de facto soft freezing of a number like that. Totally makes sense. But then for the Mets to concede to the public pressure after it, I thought was kind of crazy too. There's people in this organization who seem to be incredibly online.
Yeah,
and it might be the man that owns the team, possibly.
Could be.
But, you might have heard that. Sorry, Steve. But he, it's also like once it's out of the bag, it's like that's kind of out of the bag. And then we also have so many public-facing media members and fans who did. And then Anthony DiComo dropped some information about this in his newsletter today. Kind of snuck it in there. Shout out Mets newsletter for putting this on Twitter. According to people with knowledge of the situation, the Mets committee that makes number retirement recommendations quietly voted last year whether to retire Carter's number 8 as part of the recent relaxing of standards. They've definitely relaxed standards.
For sure.
For years, the team held an unofficial policy of only retiring the numbers of Hall of Famers with Mets caps on their plaques in Cooperstown. That changed earlier this decade when the Mets retired the numbers of non-Hall of Famers Jerry Koosman, Keith Hernandez, Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, and David Wright in rapid succession. Carter, who's in the Hall of Fame with an Expos cap, playing the Nationals, was a candidate to receive the same honor, but was voted down largely because he only spent 5 of his 19 Major League seasons in New York. There was no vote about unfreezing his number, but somehow, whether due to a miscommunication or a simple mistake, it ended up in Morabito's locker. So it should have ended there. Should have been like an acknowledgement of that. You can honor a player who once played for an organization without retiring a number.
Totally.
There was a Michael Irvin quote that went around. Did you see it about this?
Dude, it's so good. That is like one of the best quotes ever. And it's about how CeeDee Lamb wears 88, which is Michael Irvin's number. And he goes, every time they see CeeDee Lamb wear my jersey, all they can think about is how Michael Irvin wore it first.
And Michael Irvin wouldn't drop that ball. If you retire my number, I get my flowers that day. That's it. You forget about me. He wears a number, I get my flowers every week.
Every time they see that 88, they go, Michael Irvin also wore that 88. Like, maybe it's a generational thing for us, whatever it is, but like, what an overreaction to that, I thought.
It was a major overreaction.
And the kid's Major League debut, he should not have to deal with any of that. Mets PR did a fucking terrible job. I will happily say that.
Yeah, it was Desi Relaford, 2001.
Oh, Desi Relaford was a legit player for the Mets.
Desi Relaford was a legit player?
Legit player, yeah.
I don't remember Desi, but
utility guy.
It was just, again, it was a strange situation that poor Nick Morabito had to deal with in his Major League debut when he had a kind of a psycho game on the field in his own right. And then he's asked about numbers after the game of a player that, again, won a World Series 50 years ago.
Yeah. It's
40 years ago, sorry.
It's one of those where it feels like everybody forgot what was going on.
It's just, I don't know. Sometimes people do forget the plot. I understand both sides of it. Like, there are some people, again, this is the 40th anniversary of 1986. Gary Carter was very, very responsible for half of the championships in franchise history.
And I'm super not against retiring Gary Carter's number. This is not anti-Gary Carter by any means. It's just, it's anti-people getting on a kid for taking a number of the kid.
I would be remote, again, I wasn't there. I would be remotely opposed to retiring Gary Carter's number. Again, 5 of 19 seasons. I understand why you would not retire that number. But again, it's, whatever this is, I'm just happy. Hopefully, it's behind us now.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it anymore.
No, that was a moment on Tuesday where I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, it felt really stupid.
Just kind of silly. Just getting mad for the sake of getting mad.
Where do we want to go with this next? What do we want to talk about after this one?
I guess a little bit of the Wednesday game. Some Zach Thornton.
We do got to talk Zach Thornton. Tough debut.
It was. He did settle well.
Settled fine. Totally settled fine. I think it's definitely, like, some growing pains that are still to come, and this is way faster than I think they ever expected Zach Thornton to be at the major league level for this team. After that first inning, he was acceptable. He was a guy that if I saw pitch again at the major league level to that quality, I'd be like, okay, good, nice. You give me 5 innings, 3 runs, I can't really complain.
I mean, after that little mini rally in the second, again, after the C.J. Abrams home run in the first, which was on just a cutter that spun dead central.
About as nice of a pitch to hit as you could have possibly had.
That was a rough one. But then they scratched across another one with the Nunez steal. Sanger made a bad throw. And even we'll talk about what happened before that Abrams home run, because I think it's relevant with Sanger. Thornton retired 8 in a row. He put the cutter in the right spot. The command was objectively good. I don't think it was best in the minor leagues.
I thought somebody tweeted at us about how Zach Thornton throwing 92, and it's nice. Yeah. It's like Sean Manaea throwing 92. He's like, I hate his guts.
I mean, it does kind of feel that way. It was fun for Thornton too. Again, when I was looking at the pitches tagged in the minor leagues, we were talking slider, curveball. as we saw them in this start, they registered as Cutter sweeper.
Yeah.
Still moving the same way, but that Cutter, he put it everywhere.
It's a good pitch,
a good
except
pitch.
to C.J. Abrams.
I mean, he definitely missed with a few of them. He had to settle in. But also, I want to get the game log so I remember these exact pitches. As we got to that point, we've talked a lot this season about the Mets having some of the worst challenge, logic, and understanding of leverage in baseball. We don't watch every team. Watch the Mets the most. But definitely watch the other teams a good bit. Probably more than most people.
We at least get to see the other teams that the Mets play and how they use it.
The at-bat to Andres Chaparro, Zach Doran threw him 4 strikes.
Yeah.
Easily. And you're looking around, you're like, oh, okay. And the Mets have talked about, the one thing they've talked about is that they want to make sure their challenges mean more. Swing at bats. And on a 3-2 pitch, wasn't even the most egregious one in that at bat. Feels like you could have swung and turned a walk into a strikeout. And it didn't happen. And even when your rookie pitcher gets a guy 0-1 in the first inning, when there's a guy on base. So again, a situation that I don't love a challenge there. That pitch, that 0-1 pitch to Andres Chaparro was so in the strike zone that's the time when you can challenge low leverage because it's so fucking obvious. And for Hank Sanger not to challenge either of them, I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some egregious challenges since Francisco Alvarez has hit the IL, and even his challenges leading up to it have been bad. But
Thursday, Jesus.
Torrens and Sanger got to be the worst in the league in terms of challenges from catchers. It's like their knowledge of the strike zone is very, very loose. It's like my knowledge of the Spanish language. I understand it enough, but I'm not confident. And the difference is I don't try and speak Spanish. Torrens and Sanger are like, oh, yeah, that's a strike, or, whatever it is. Such bad challengers. Then we saw Marcus Semien challenge a pitch that was, the ball was completely in the strike zone. If you were looking at the heat map or what they would call it the heart of the zone is where that pitch was. And Marcus Semien said, I think that's a ball, which is, I think probably tells you everything you need to know about the Marcus Semien hitting experience this year is that pitches down the middle he takes because he thinks it's a ball. It's just the understanding of leverage, like you said, and the plan, which there is none. There is no plan. The plan doesn't exist. For challenging and ABS stuff for the Mets, it's got to be the worst in baseball. I don't think there's a team that does it worse.
No, and even, again, a few innings after the Marcus Semien, which was the worst challenge ever, Bo Bichette, another very bad one, but even worse than Bo Bichette actually challenging it is that it was 2 strikes, nobody on base, 2 outs.
Yeah.
Just go back to the dugout, dude. Like, you don't try to be a hero right now in a pitch that wasn't so obvious that you think you have to challenge it. Like, it's just, I don't know if this comes back to coaching. I don't know if it's come back to these players being Mavericks. I don't know if it's the fact that the front office is not relaying how they want to employ this strategy. But there's something wrong with the way the Mets challenge, and it's an enraging thing to watch every day because these are the kinds of 50-50 moments that can stack up and help you win or possibly cost you a game. Yeah. So Nationals didn't even use the challenge on the 9th inning in this game.
No, I mean, sometimes you don't need to use them. Sometimes there's obvious points to use them. All I know is the Mets have absolutely no idea how to.
No, absolutely no clue whatsoever. But again, it was nice to see Thornton settle in. I'm curious if he gets another turn in the rotation because I think he got this turn because of the left-handed heavy nature of the Nationals lineup.
Would he get the Marlins? Or would he get when we're back home against the Reds?
I was thinking Reds.
Do they have a lot of lefties in their lineup? Not really.
Not particularly, no.
Yeah.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know if he showed them what he wanted to show them. It was also weird that in this game it was just C.J. Abrams, Gabriel Ruiz. He couldn't get out. Gabriel had the great series of his life.
Watching the Nationals play, I don't understand how they score as many runs as they do every single night.
I kind of do because they put the bat in the ball a lot.
It is just like
every guy's lefty.
It's just like, oh, this guy now, nobody's numbers besides Wood and Abrams really jump out off the page, but yet they have the most runs in baseball.
It's like our friend Daniel Murphy always tells us, where it's like when you have that platoon advantage, you're kind of like the Superman.
Yeah,
the fact
but their numbers aren't good. These guys.
Yeah, but they can string them together. They put the bat in the ball a lot, and then it's 2 guys who are like 2 of the biggest run producers in baseball right now, and ties it all together. But it's fun, chaotic baseball the Nationals play. I'm honestly happy to get out of there with just to split this series.
Yeah.
It was a lot to handle.
Somehow could have swept it. Somehow could have been swept. Somehow ended up with a split. I'm not really sure how it works sometimes baseball.
No, it's nice that Soto was like pretty hot again.
Yeah, he fucking owns the Nationals. He loves playing in that ballpark. Let me tell you what.
So he is the highest OPS of against any team. It's the Nationals. It's been at least I think I saw 80 something plate appearances. I looked on Baseball Reference this morning.
I'm sure there is always a chip on his shoulder. It's like
you traded me.
Yeah, you traded me. I'm arguably the best player that's ever stepped on this field, and you traded me for prospects. What? Yeah. After I won you a World Series when your prodigy before didn't do shit.
Huge part also is that he gets to face Nationals pitching.
Yes, no, that's a huge plus. He's one of the actual players in baseball, not like the rest of the Mets, who say, I'm going to own the Nationals. Although, Bo Bichette this year, I think all his home runs are against the Nationals.
I think they basically are as well. Also fun for Soto. He didn't steal a base his first 17 games this season, as he still was probably before the calf, then nursing the calf. Now he's stolen 4 in the last 12.
And Mets found a way to lose in a game back-to-back nights where they had a player hit 2 home runs. I'd love to get Tim Kirkshin on that one.
No, that's a rare one for sure. Also, today is the anniversary of Juan Soto's first career home run.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like Nationals broadcast dropping nuggets left and right.
You were all over the Nats broadcast.
I was having a good time with them until the Thunder Spurs game started.
That was a good game.
That was a good game. I think that's kind of a bow on this series, though. If I'm trying to think, again, big props to the bullpen for Thursday, especially for all those guys rolling hitless through those middle innings was awesome.
Huascar Brazoban continues to be amazing whenever he steps on the field. Devin Williams is now 10 straight appearances without allowing a run, and I think that was his 4th base runner that was on base. And I know he scored a hit, but that's an error in my book. So he's allowed 1 hit in his last 10 innings, I believe, which is crazy.
That's great. I mean, we've been saying it, but it feels like he's defiantly back to being one of the best closers in baseball. It's kind of amazing. Someone had a reply to my game notes. They were like, I don't really think we can use that narrative that Devin Williams isn't mentally strong anymore, because he definitely feels really mentally strong right now. I was like,
big nails.
I'm kind of with that. And we got Bo Bichette's OPS over 600. Carson Bench, WRC Plus is circling around 100. He's getting right to there. Same with Brett Beatty. Same with Mark Vientos.
Mark Vientos, nice play at first base today, too, on that C.J. Abrams ball.
Good call. I forgot about that one. Game-saving play at first base, for being honest about that.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows how he got to it, because he basically caught it behind his body, but it was a nice play.
There's also, if you're a Mets fan and you only watch Mets games, you probably think Cade Cavalli is one of the 5 or 10 best pitchers in baseball, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
He throws BBs against us. He was busting that knuckle curve.
That curve is gross against us.
He was getting so many called third strikes. I was like, wow, it's
because he knows I'm watching, and I was like the highest guy on him out of the draft. I was like, he's going to be so good, and he's just dealt with injuries and injuries and injuries, but he knows I'm watching against the Mets, and he's like, let me make sure Mark knows I still got it.
Also, Luke Weaver, a few nice appearances in a row. He's got that ERA back to a very crispy, nice spot.
In the zone, Luke.
In the zone, Luke. You throw more Cuthers too, which I think is a good wrinkle for him. It's just this team. You could kind of feel this team again playing good baseball, but you need to play a really good baseball to actually dig out of the hole that you've already dug.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play 110 games of good baseball.
No, and that probably starts with the Marlins this weekend.
Yeah, Marlins this weekend. Do we have no other media marvels before that?
None that stuck out to me, but I guess a few things to mention, though, is that AJ Minter, actually, they're saying he could be back.
For the Marlins?
Back this weekend. And
I can't wait to boom.
His boom. That's so long ago. It's not even funny. But the stuff looked good in AAA, better this time around than last time around. The fastball's 92, 93, so we'll take that from AJ Minter. And Kodai's back in rehab assignment, so 30 days till we have to watch Kodai Senga pitch.
Yeah, 30 days until we have to have Stockholm Syndrome and just believe in our captor, Kodai Senga.
just pretend it's okay. But then
the Jonah Tong update, which was he was a healthy scratch from his last start because there's a world where he might be called up to make a start against the Marlins this weekend.
I think the Mets are basically considering him for a single start where they would option a reliever and call up Tong to possibly just give everyone a blow. But also, shout out Daniel Duarte.
He looked great.
Ate some innings up. They pushed Kimbrel to 35 pitches the other night too.
Can't even believe he's still here.
No, he doesn't look very good.
I can't believe he threw 40 pitches in a game, the longest he's ever pitched in a professional baseball game. And the Mets said, he's not going anywhere. Where would he go? Okay. And also, I know the Mets bullpen was taxed, but seeing him in a 2-run game, that was infuriating for his third inning.
Yeah, the whole thing is just like, it's still very weird. It still feels like sometimes we try to thread the needle, but again, playing better. And this at least this A-team bullpen has come together in a way that we feel good. If you could throw 80% of what was once AJ Minter in there, then suddenly you can get through 2 days with different relievers and feel good about holding on to a lead.
Which would be nice.
It's a nice place to be for this bullpen. And then hopefully, again, I know Austin Warren finally gave up a run, but I still am very confident in his spot in this team. And I think it's coming together more than it looked like a little while ago.
Just get some healthy bats maybe now.
I mean, Jorge Polanco, we've heard nothing for a week again. Slight positive about Francisco Lindor. Might be back in the month of June, which would be phenomenal. It really does. It really just a lot of this stretch is going to come down to Mark Vientos and Brett Beatty. And Beatty had another good series while he was playing third base.
I am going to throw out something crazy here.
What?
What are the chances, and it's not because he was bad at defense, but what are the chances that Bo Bichette plays second over third base because Beatty's been playing such a good third base and swinging it so much better while playing third?
Yeah, especially how bad Simeon was defensively this series. The thoughts have begun to cross my mind of him just becoming like if
The super utility guy.
him and Beatty wind up platooning.
Ooh, that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he becomes the right-handed caddy for Brett Beatty.
I like that. I think that actually is going to end up what it is because he can't hit righties. He doesn't particularly hit lefties, but he does hit them better.
Yeah, I do wonder now, after everything that we've done, if the Mets actually wind up sending Beatty back to second base instead of Bo.
Interesting. Something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, keep an eye out for. Again, this is all about Francisco Lindor restarting baseball activities, then going through a rehab stint, and then actually coming back on time.
Little Marlins preview. We have not seen the Marlins, right? We haven't played them.
Really weird. It feels like we see the Marlins like first week of the season every single year.
And they said this year, we'll get you at the end of May.
Get you at the end of May. I mean, it's nice to actually be playing against National League East, and this weekend, pitching matchups again. We don't really know because there's a chance everyone moves back a day. The Mets are flirting with the idea of Jonathan making a start on Friday. But if he does not make the start on Friday, then Friday night would be Freddie Peralta on regular rest, Christian Scott Saturday, and then Nolan McLean again on Sunday. But again, I understand the stretch where there's not an off day until next Thursday before the Marlins come to Citi Field because you have to play teams back to back. That's how my schedule works.
We might forget who the guys are on the other team.
No, can't have that. Can never have that. So that this series, we're definitely seeing Freddie Peralta and Christian Scott, and then we might see Jonathan or Nolan McLean, be it Friday or Sunday. And then for the Marlins, Yuri Perez, Max Meyer, and then Sunday is a question mark, or they might have the Friday question mark as well. Because remember, people were talking about Thomas White getting that spot.
Then he got hurt.
Then he won the injured list. Robbie Snelling just got Tommy John surgery. That would have been him to this weekend. Those are my guys right there.
I think
about those.
Do they have Ryan Gusto?
Gusto's around. Bradley Blaylock. They also picked up off waivers from the Rockies. He could be there. I'm going to check a different website if I can get
Nobody
probables.
particularly exciting.
No in particular. I mean, I think Blaylock is a guy that could torment the Mets.
Well, everybody torments the Mets, so it's not. That's not a huge.
We've been a little better lately, but it's this Marlins team they're pesky, but they've not played very well of late.
No, we've standings watch officially jumped them in the standings today.
Nice. So
yeah, it's alphabetical.
So now for Fangraphs, they have Yuri, Max Meyer, Dax Fulton getting the call to start
Dax
Sunday.
Fulton, whoa.
Marlins had a lot of pitching on their 40-man. Tons.
Yeah, Dax Fulton's another 2020 draft kid.
yeah, right. I'm happy we're missing Sandy because he always destroys us. Yuri Perez we're getting on Friday.
He has not been good.
He's not been good. He's another one where it's kind of similar to McLean. Not similar, but not dissimilar, where he just has absolutely no idea where his breaking balls are going right now. So then he leans on the fastball. Then the command of that fastball isn't great. And even though it's a great fastball and he's 6'7" with 7.5 feet of extension, 98 miles an hour, if it's in the middle of the plate, it's in the middle of the plate. It's going to get walloped. But also Yuri Perez, have you ever seen his home road splits for his career?
He's unbelievable at home, terrible on the road, right?
Yes, that's where we're getting him. But that's
of course.
And Max Meyer on Saturday. Meyer's had a great season.
He's completely turned it around.
I mean, he was pretty good last year, and then it seemed like he pitched hurt, and then he wound up getting that hip surgery. That hip surgery is a killer for anybody. Baseball players get that hip surgery. It takes a while. But Max Meyer has found 2.5 ticks on both his slider and his sweeper this year, and he's throwing that sweeper. He's ripping that thing 88 miles an hour. It's got two-plane movement on it, and he's just burying that thing on righties. On lefties. I can't even believe how much he's able to throw that pitch to lefties and how effective it's been. He's had a phenomenal season, flying very under the radar for a guy with a 2.8 an ERA and a 1.1 WHIP over 50 innings.
Yeah, when the Marlins player development hits, they're hitting hard, but they've also had a lot of guys take some really, really big steps back so far early in the season.
Well, before we get negative, can we give the best player in the Marlins right now?
Otto Lopez?
The call of the century. Otto Lopez is this
We have to
season's...
give context, too.
Well, Mark and I on our other channel, The Wind Up, we had a joke going about who's going to be this year's Geraldo Perdomo. And I stamped my fist on the table and I said it'd be Otto Lopez. And Otto Lopez right now has the highest batting average in the National League. He's top 5 in baseball in WAR. He looks like a guy who could legitimately get MVP votes. It's not even just doing this like slapping singles. Otto Lopez's bat speed is up. He's hitting the ball harder than ever. He's lifting it more than ever. He's a bona fide fucking star right now.
Otto Lopez is better than Geraldo Perdomo right now.
Otto Lopez right now, if he hit the open market this offseason, he'd be getting $150 million.
Geraldo Perdomo's going, how can I be Otto Lopez?
How can I be more like Otto Lopez? But then also, like Mark was saying, similarly, the Marlins have had huge step backs from two guys who looked like they could have been on star tracks last year, in Kyle Stowers and Jacob Marcy. Marcy's been riding the bench a little bit. Yeah. We're seeing Asturi Ruiz playing time, which is crazy. Connor Norby's played a little bit better this year, but still never taken a step. Xavier Edwards is awesome. He's a menace at the leadoff spot.
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of DMX lately. I listen to a lot of DMX when Knicks are in the playoffs always.
I like that.
Yeah,
He's a California guy though, isn't he?
What? No, Yonkers.
DMX from Yonkers?
Absolutely. You know DMX was a New York guy?
I had no clue he was a New York guy.
Unbelievable. DMX is...
Yonkers?
One of DMX's greatest claims to fame is I think he's gotten like a dozen tickets for driving without a license because he just never got a license, but he knows how to knew how to drive.
I mean, it's not that hard.
May God rest his soul. But again, this Marlins team, annoying, play some good ball, but you should be able to pitch through this lineup.
Yeah, like, again, it's Otto Lopez, Xavier Edwards, Liam Hicks is also...
Oh, I forgot about Liam. Liam Hicks.
Another one of your guys.
Yeah, weirdly enough. He's one of the most productive players in baseball. I think he's up to 40 RBIs already.
He has 42 RBIs, which is the most in the league. He is pulled fly balls. Pulled fly balls. That's his entire thing. Pull the ball in the air, down the line. If you throw it in the heart of the zone, he simply will not miss it.
Doesn't strike out either.
The quality of contact outside of that is sketchy a little bit. We'll see how long this sticks. But right now he's having an unbelievable start to the season, and he has improved upon last year. A Rule 5 draft pick last year that Marlins kind of just hung around to. They believed in him.
Liam Paredes. And then also the Marlins have made a catching change recently. They sent down Augustin Ramirez, who was just... Last year, he at least was hitting, but he was the worst defensive catcher in baseball by a long shot. He was hitting,
but he was below league average. I do want that to be known.
He just hits it hard. He's fun.
As the prominent Augustin Ramirez hater, because when that trade happened, everybody was talking about what a great haulback was. I was like, who fucking cares? I just have to make that be known. He was still below league average last year.
I think, 99?
91.
Oh, that's way worse than I thought. But Joe Mack up, also big-time prospect, much, 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 much better defender. Not exactly great with the bat, but I think he's a guy that will wind up being like a very good major league hitter because he could run into one. He's kind of anti-Liam Hicks where it's bat speed, but he's a swing and miss guy. But again, very good defender. So last year the Marlins, even to this point, were a team that you could run on at will. I write a stolen base column for Other World every week, and basically every week I was like, it's Augustin Ramirez and it's everybody else. It's like you have to pick on this guy. But that's kind of where this team's at. Peter Fairbanks.
I have one more prediction. Christopher Morel is playing. Basically, the only guy that might be playing worse than him right now is Key Brian Hayes, who we face in the next series and definitely will also do something big against us. Christopher Morel is going to hit a home run against us. I'm letting that be known. Him and his 376 OPS, he's going to look like a star this weekend.
Do you know who they picked up today?
Oh, Reese Hines.
Yeah, that's a fun. Again, they're like, all right, Kyle Stowers worked. Now it's stopped. Owen Casey, we're still trying. Reese Hines, let's try the same thing.
Talk about a guy who throws hard, swings hard, hits hard, strikes out 75% of the time.
Reese Hines is like, he's a baseball player built in a lab, but then on the field it changes.
Yes, yeah.
But again, this Marlins team, they're not a bad team. We have the same record as them, so we can never call anyone a bad team right now.
Or they are a bad team because they have the same record as us, and we are bad.
Possibly. Bullpen's also fun, like Bender, Fauché, Tyler Phillips, smack himself in the face.
He's an insane person.
I think Michael Peterson, World Baseball Classic hero, like they
Blake Backer?
Yeah, Blake Backer, Nardi. Like there are... This Marlins team, at least, they've accumulated, I think, more talent than I thought they would to this point in their rebuild.
They're doing fine.
Doing totally fine. Again, that's a house of horrors for us. They have two, I would call, very good starting pitchers in this series. The Mets got to find a way to win 2 out of 3 and get back home with a winning road trip.
2 out of 3 would be awesome. If we get 2 out of 3, you're going to feel really good coming back home from Memorial Day against the Reds.
2 out of 3 to me feels like a vitalness. Also, I think I don't think we're going to record Sunday Memorial Day, right?
I was literally just going to ask. I don't think we normally do. I think we miss Memorial Day and 4th of July because no one is home to watch any of that stuff.
Listen to podcasts.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be listening to it, but if you're driving, I feel like everybody has the day off.
And I'm also going to be the wedding Sunday night, which is so I can't record that night at all.
That's simple. It's fine. You'll catch us on Tuesday.
So Tuesday we'll have an episode ready for you guys.
Tuesday we'll have an episode ready for you guys. For the actual baseball portion of this, we are done. Knicks Corner, though. It's time to talk a little Knicks. We are currently 15 minutes out from tip.
Yeah.
After what was the most insane Game 1 ever. It hasn't happened in the playoffs since 1970. They didn't even have the three-point line then, which makes it sound... Which, honestly, how did they do it without the three-point line? What the hell did that other team do? How did they lose that game? But for the Knicks to come back like they did, for us to win some money, shout out FanDuel, what a fucking Game 1.
Mark and I are watching that with some friends. My parents were at the game. Me and my sister sent them to the game for basically all of their gifts for the year. So Good Son Award goes to me. But I was like we were feeling terrible. The Mets were playing like shit. The Knicks were playing awfully. The Knicks had between the second and third quarter, it was as bad at basketball as they've played since that weird swoon they took through January and early February. And you're just Cat had a cat game. OG looked very rusty. Jalen was good, but he wasn't I felt like being assertive enough.
Josh Hart was pure chaos and horrible.
Josh Hart, as always said, plays like when the football team comes into the gym for gym class and then tries to play basketball. He was doing spin moves and diving on the courts, like clanking shots off the rim that were going like 14 rows deep. And then everything changed when Mike Brown went to the savior of this team, Landry Shamet, our fucking GOAT. And all of a sudden, it was McCall, especially Jalen, and Landry just said, that's every single shot's going to go into the hoop, while at the same time, Donovan Mitchell faded into the back. Big time loser.
Harden stunk.
James Harden, we got switches on James Harden for like 7 straight possessions. Jalen cooked him every single time. Leaners, floaters, step backs. Like, it was unbelievable what Jalen was doing to him.
It's crazy when you openly tell out everybody that Dean Wade's going to cover Jalen Brunson, and then you're like, okay, we'll get someone else on him. We'll just change the offense. It's that simple.
Brunson stopper, and huge apologies. I mean, a lot of basketball to go here to Mikal Bridges.
Yeah,
he hit 2 of the best shots I've ever seen anyone hit in the playoff game, and
couldn't believe he did it.
He's been absolute downright nails this entire postseason since that game against the Hawks, where it felt like he had the yips.
All those draft picks that we traded. Now I get it. Yeah. This version of him, I get it.
I mean, he was a playoff riser last year, too. He was awesome against the Celtics in that series. It's just, now you kind of feel like you stole one that you definitely didn't deserve to win, one of the largest comebacks in NBA history. And now, again, we're 15 minutes from tip. If you could crush the Cavaliers here, you feel like you can actually get yourself to a short series, which is probably the only possible way you have a chance against the monsters from the West.
I mean, we did this when we played the Phillies. This is blood. This is a blood moment right here.
Big time blood. I want blood. Especially because there might not be enough blood in the world for next series.
No, there might not be, but oh boy. I'd love to get some right now.
I was talking to some neutral basketball observers today when I was doing some work with NBC folks, and I was like really hopeful. They're like, we're going to be honest with you. You don't have a chance.
It doesn't feel like it.
They were like, have fun now, but that's not the same thing. Hey,
we worry about it when we get there. Keep doubting the Knicks. Everybody knows Knicks major underdogs.
No matter what, no one else has Jalen Brunson. I'm gonna keep leaning on that. I know tonight, gotta have a cat game tonight. Really need to have a cat game.
Yeah, need Zesty Cat back.
I just don't want Cat doing dumb shit. Like
running the offense with the ball in one hand.
We had all the momentum, and he did that really stupid thing when OG had a wide open dunk, and he just hooked Jared Allen's wrist. Which now after last night was Isaiah Hartenstein, it feels like that's allowed now. So maybe you try that again tonight. Maybe that's okay. There was a funny tweet where it said Knicks Isaiah Hartenstein would be so disappointed in Thunder Isaiah Hartenstein. And then Shea just threw him under the bus after the game. I don't know what's going on with that Thunder team. They have very strange vibes, but the Knicks are. I want to see his team in the finals. And then when you get there, who the fuck knows what happens? But end this fucking series tonight. Go up 2-0.
Go up 2-0. Give us something to be happy about. Big shout out to me for the Jinx. All-time bad day for the orange and blue. Knicks proceed to play the best basketball that almost anyone's ever played in 7 minutes.
Yeah, literally, it was perfect. I didn't even. How many points down when did you actually start to believe?
I think 8.
Was it when? Yeah, that was Jalen hit the. That was when McCall. McCall hit the 3?
Yeah, with 3:30 left when McCall hit the 3 from the corner, I think.
No, McCall hit the one where he got the ball in the wing. He kind of did a fake drive, and then he did a shootout back to the opposite wing, and that was the fadeaway one that he hit where I was like, oh, this is special. This is happening right now.
Well, you get within 10 in the NBA, you can win with any amount of time.
Yeah, but
Frankie Peppers?
Oh yeah, we got Frankie. Did you want to do a couple reviews?
I'll pull up the podcast app on my phone.
I have a few right now.
Let's take a look at what the reviews look like.
We got a novel from Gavin. Gavin, we love you, Gavin.
Oh, Gavin. Gavin's everywhere. Big shout out to Gavin. That's Mets'd Up Boys. Gavin, we haven't heard from you for a while. We also got Pepe is Pew Pew. Mm-hmm. I think that's it in terms of the last week, right? We asked people?
Yeah, we got a couple more from the last few months that we haven't read, but yeah, just from the last week. It was only 2.
All right. Maybe check Spotify. I think Spotify has reviews now.
No, Spotify has comments. We get lots of comments on our episodes now.
Okay.
We get plenty of comments, and we're up to 900 Spotify reviews.
That feels like a really high amount.
It's an incredibly high amount. It's honestly shocking.
All right, big shout out to Pepe Le Pew Pew. Mark and James, keep it real. Any Mets fan not listening to this pod is seriously missing out. I did have a question for y'all. If you get time, do you think Stearns needs a GM under him to help with the decisions that come with a big market? Love you, boys. I love that question. I actually do think a GM would be good for this team.
Yeah, right? Why not?
Because it seems like there are a lot of decisions that maybe a second voice who's also smart could help us avoid.
I mean, luckily we're outside of Oscar season, so maybe Zosmer can get himself in there. Mets directory. Who are there are others.
Well, we know Chris Christie's at the top.
Chris Christie's got to be at the top. I love doing this so far. So the Mets order of the list of the people in their directory: Steve Cohen, Alex Cohen, Andrew Cohen, Gene Molino, Chris Christie, David
Fuck's
Stearns.
Andrew Cohen?
Good question.
Who is that?
I don't know.
What's his role?
Vice chairman.
All right, he's probably just got money.
So Eduardo Brizuela, we know he's the other AGM. He came from Milwaukee with Stearns. I think he's done a lot of like international player development scouting right now. And then Jonathan Strangio. I don't remember Jonathan Strangio.
It's not a name I'm familiar with.
And then Zosmer. Those are the 3 AGMs. So we have 3 AGMs. Again, I can understand wanting to have...
What are we playing? The game of who's going to do it best to get the job?
Possibly, yeah. Maybe it's still a succession thing going on.
Do you want me to read Gavin or you want to read Gavin?
You could read Gavin. It's long.
All right. It's from our boy Gavin. Hey, guys, this is Gavin. Love it. It was a good series for the boys. It did not start out well after the awful news about Holmes, but they rebounded after that. Ewing looks really good so far. Weaver had a great outing last night. This is after the Subway Series, by the way, for those of you guys at home. He picked up Benj after his dumb mistake. Benj came through today, though, and so did Terens and Taylor. I thought when Taylor hit that, I thought it was going foul, but thankfully it stayed fair. I love that. This is just Gavin's opinion on what's been going on.
It's great.
Mendoza made some questionable moves this series. He kept an eye out there too long. Good win for the boys, and it's always nice to beat up on the Yankees. They can make all the excuses they want, but they still lost the series. I'm sure Michael K. will go on some 10-minute rant tomorrow that will have to do with trashing the Mets. Let's go beat up on the Nats and LGM boys. I mean, half beat up on them.
Half beat up on them. At least we won 2 games. And then Pepe Le Pew Pew, Mark and James keep it
I read
real.
that one.
Oh, you read that one, right?
I just read that one, yeah.
Oh, I'm zoned out.
You were locked in. You were looking for Frankie Peppers.
Yeah, right. And then there's one from again April. I'll just read it out now from HTVTYHNUN. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, HTV.
HTVYTYHUN.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, Frankie. Frankie's been on the money.
Love to hear it from Frankie. It's a good way to end the night.
Here comes Frankie after a wacky 4-game set against the Nationals.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? I'm not doing so hot, boys. I'm sick. Got a cold. It seems to be going around. And was feeling so out of it today that I left work early, which actually did give me the nice benefit of being able to watch the ball game in between, falling asleep. I feel really tired, boys. But things are going well enough. You take a split on the road and you win at home. That's how you go. I was hoping that this team could have some...
Nope. Is that low power mode?
Low power mode again.
Gotcha again.
Momentum after, after the big
Sounds like he's
series
dying.
over the weekend. But, it's the way it happens. Just go win against the Marlins and we're good to go. I am going to get going, boys. My throat hurts a little bit, so bye, boys. Let's go, Mets.
God, I hope Frankie wasn't on a cruise ship in the last month.
No, I really hope not. I don't think I've ever said this story on the podcast. I should have, honestly. But so 2 years ago, I think it was now, maybe 3, I got my dad a Keith Hernandez cameo for Christmas.
Oh, yes.
And it was a long cameo. It was like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But like 30, 40 seconds in, Keith just went, shoo! Just massive sneeze right in the middle of it. Kept it in. Whoa! Just kept going like it was nothing.
That's a professional right there. That's a pro.
Yeah, right. It's funny as hell.
He didn't have the mute button that they definitely have for him in the booth.
No, it wasn't like the Big Time Tommy one I got RJ for Christmas. That was
guy's the best.
It's a 4-minute cameo. It was like a podcast himself.
Absolutely electric.
Yeah, but it's good series.
Good series. That's it, guys. We'll talk to you Tuesday. Enjoy Memorial Day. Everybody be safe. Northeast area, sorry. We're getting fucked. It's going to be rainy and cold. Everybody else, enjoy it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching Mets'd Up. Make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google if you want to listen to us. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
And I'm Draft Deck Mark. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.